This story starts with two people finding each other and falling in love. Unfortunately, instead of the fairy tale ending, these two deserved one of their lives would be cut short in a bizarre way. Michael Hartney and Chelsey Jones knew each other from high school, but it wasn't until 5 years ago that they made a connection. Hartney and Jones spotted each other in the crowded upper deck bar and grill in Portage Lakes. Hartney told his friends that he was going to go try to find her, but before he could, she had found him. 2 years later, they would have a baby girl together. They would settle down in a home on Summit Lake Boulevard. Their house had a view of the Summit Lake. Their home was adorned with dream catchers, which is something Chelsey loved to collect. They also shared custody of Chelsey's 6-year-old daughter. On July 4, 2022, Hartney and Jones were settling down for the night. As she often did, Chelsey Jones sat on the living room couch with her legs crossed watching TV. Michael Hartney decided to take a small nap. About an hour later, Michael woke up and reports that he had heard groaning. When Michael walked into the living room, he seen Chelsey. She had a black eye and a lump on her forehead and was surrounded by a pool of blood. Immediately, Michael called for an ambulance. When Chelsey was at the hospital, the doctors had asked Michael if there were any guns in the house. Soon after that question was asked, doctors would reveal to Michael that Chelsey had been shot in the head. Hartney was in shock. He never heard a gunshot and there was no sign of an intruder. When police began to investigate, however, there were a few signs that did point to a gun being involved in what had happened to Chelsey. Searching the home, detectives found a bullet hole in the window that peered out onto a scenic lake view. Across the lake, directly from the window, was a small dock. On this dock, police officers found 2 9mm shell casings. It is believed that someone fired a gun across the lake, directly into their living room window. Police also believe that the shooting of Chelsey Jones was a complete unintentional freak accident. There are countless scenarios that could have changed the outcome of what had happened, but on Tuesday, July 5, Chelsey was pronounced dead and the freak accident was now a homicide. Hartney's interview with reporters is full of a beautiful illustration of a wonderful person. Chelsey was an artist and painter. She loved creating. She loved the moon and dream catchers. She was a passionate phlebotomist. Hartney said that Jones was the love of his life, and they planned to get married. July would have been their 5th-year anniversary together. Instead of planning a wedding or celebrating their anniversary, Hartney will be planning Jones' funeral. Sadly, in the interview, Hartney goes on to speculate what could have happened differently. He could have stayed up with Jones instead of napping. She could have been lying down on the sofa instead of sitting up when the bullet came through the window. Or the bullet could have gone 3 to 4 inches to the right and hit the window frame and not the pane. Or whoever had the gun could have decided not to shoot it that night. So many small things could have changed this situation, but what should have been known to the gun handlers could change all situations like this. Do not point a gun anywhere unless you know where the bullet is going to end up, and do not pull the trigger unless you want that bullet to end up where you absolutely know it is going to go. If you think a gun is unloaded, it is not good enough. You should never pull a trigger unless you want to kill or destroy what you are aiming at, loaded or unloaded. It doesn't matter. Too many mistakes have taken too many lives. Guns are not toys, they are a machine that is able to take a human life in a second.